Hello, friendos. Welcome back to another exciting edition of Frosty Talks, where I just jabber. I just jibber jabber. I'm not wearing my Superman shirt today. It's fine. I'm not really a Superman fan. I am a comic books fan, so therefore, Superman does kind of help. So, a couple things I want to talk about today. Make sure I got it pulled up here because, I always do bullshit like that. So first thing I want to talk about is that umbrella guy, or Tug, right? So last week I talked about Tug being doxxed, and I made sure that the video was good for him. I asked him to view it, to 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 let me know if there's anything I need to cut out or anything like that. He said no, and he actually had some nice things to say. So that was very that warmed my heart. I was very happy about that. So an update on Tug. I don't know if I mentioned it last week or not, but his wife was pregnant, and they just had the baby on Friday. They're gonna keep his wife for a little while longer because there's some issues, and the baby has a treatable, I guess, disease, and so they're going to go ahead with that and make sure that she's good to go before she goes home. So Tug, if you watch this at all, congratulations, my friend. Uh, all the best to you and your family. I did donate to the baby fund. That will be in the link, and that will be in the description below. So definitely check that out. Now on to the thing that I am regretting talking about most. So earlier today at the time of filming this, Saturday, August 3rd, 2019. There was a shooting in Texas. As far as I know, 19 are dead. He used an AK-47 and an AK-47 semi-automatic rifle. So there's a lot of confusion about what the difference between an assault weapon, a semi-auto, and I'm guessing, yeah. There's just a lot of confusion between an assault weapon and a semi-automatic. So, an assault weapon, I guess to me, is for one trigger pull equals more than one bullet. Like, if you pull and it goes pew, that is not an automatic. It's not an automatic weapon, so therefore it's not an assault weapon. However, I am former military, so I view assault weapons completely different than, say, you would. But to kind of clarify, what that's what I feel is an assault weapon is one trigger pull means pew pew pew, or pew 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 pew, more than one, basically. So he had one where if you pulled the trigger, it went pew. That's basically the only people who are allowed in the United States to have a firearm like that is anybody with a class 3 license. That is a seller's license. You cannot have an assault weapon or an automatic weapon. They're kind of interchangeable without that license. You have to have a class 3 license in order to sell an assault weapon or to even have them. That's as far as I know. The military is, of course, an exception, but again, those are special circumstances. I've fired automatic weapons. They are very fun to fire, especially a 50 cal. Oh my god! So let me go off on a tangent here. So a 240 Bravo, which is something that I fired, is a machine gun that fires 7.62 rounds. 7.62 rounds and 5.56 are pretty interchangeable. I can fire a 5.56 through I think you can fire a 7.62 round through a 5.56, but I'm not sure about the other way around. I'll have to look into that. But I own an AR-15 that is a 5.56, and I've shot 7.62 through it. So there you have it. But the reason why I went off, but what I'm getting at is when you pull the trigger, it goes do 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 do, right? And the 50 cal goes goo 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 goo. But that's neither here nor there. The sounds are kind of you understand. Well, if you've handled firearms, you'd probably understand the sound and the feel of the weapon change how you feel about that weapon, basically. But anyway, going back to the Texas thing, I've already seen people say ban assault weapons. So to me, you're saying ban what's already banned, unless you have a Class 3 license. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is the shooting just happened. Let the people mourn before you politicize it, because this idea of going straight to we need to ban weapons is just, it's irritating, because you're sitting here telling me that before families get to see their loved ones in the morgue and identify them so that the police can say something, you are saying that you want to use this for political purposes. And that's just sickening. You don't need to be doing this shit. So, 19 are dead. He was using an AK-47 semi-automatic. They say it's an assault-style weapon, but basically anything with a butt stock could be an assault-style weapon. I could change one of my pistols to a assault-style weapon. So, this whole idea of changing a machine gun to an assault-style weapon, an assault weapon, to an assault-style weapon. What do you think's next? What do you think's next? Like there is you're pushing you're pulling the goalposts back, or pushing them forward. I don't know, but you're moving the goalposts to where you were reasonable. Like machine guns, I don't think civilians should have those. I mean, I want one, but I'm not gonna go out and buy one illegally. I'd go ahead and get my Class 3 license and buy one. I would be willing to do that. But this idea that now it's assault-style weapons, well, what do you consider assault-style weapon? Do you consider it a rifle? And what really irritated me about the whole thing is they showed a picture of Mitch McConnell with a rifle, and in the same like, I guess, tweet as, you know, this assault weapons ban, or ban assault weapons now, or whatever. The problem with that one was, and this is so funny to me, is that Mitch McConnell was holding a flintlock rifle, or what looked to be a flintlock rifle. That means that it was one of the rifles used back in the frontier days. Like, what? You want to ban that? Like, that's going to the Dark Ages. But anyway, that's enough about my whole deal with the whole Texas thing. And before, families get to see their loved ones in the morgue, it's already being politicized, and my anger towards that. But now let's change gears and talk about Vic for a little bit, because I don't want to work myself into like this rage where I devolve into rambling, which I kind of already have. What are you doing, cat? Hang on. Come here, buddy. I want you to say hi to some people. Come here. This is my buddy. You want to know what his name is? His name is Chance. Chance is the name of... All right. Oh, gosh. Chance is the name of, I believe it's T-Bone. He doesn't like to be held, so I was surprised he even let me pick him up. All right, so back to it. If I look like I'm still a little sweaty, it's because I washed my truck today. I had to go out and buy cat litter. I got cat hair all over me. It's in my nose. It's going to irritate me. But, yeah, I had to do all that today and help with our pool. And I haven't had a chance to take a shower yet, but I'll do that right after this. And it's hot in here. So, yeah, there's that too. So, going to Vic. Quite a few things have happened this week. So, last week we talked about the TCPAs, the motions to dismiss. And what that means. Basically, what it means is that if someone's TCPA goes through, that means that's done. He basically, they lose. But the problem with it is everything attached to it. So, let me give you an example of what's attached to Jamie, or not to Jamie's, to Ron and Monica's TCPA. So we already talked about Stan Dolan and how he kind of destroyed Monica's story, right? So not only did he destroy that story, but then it turns out that another affidavit that they had attached to it was a con runner. It feels really weird to say con runner, so I'm just going to say I can't call him a con artist, even though he basically is. But a con head. Let's just call it a con head. He was arrested. Basically, it came out that he was arrested for falsifying a police report. Or filing a false police report, I guess. Is that the same thing? I don't think it really is. I think filing a false police report and, basically he made false accusations. Somebody and went to the police with him. So that came out and that destroyed that guy's affidavit. So then we get to Jamie Markey's we'll get to that here in a second. So we're going through, and then Kara Edwards has her affidavit in there. and it says that she was pulled into a sexual dance or something like that. And yeah, so that she was pulled into a sexual dance, and she was like trying to get away and this, that, and the other. And then there was a video that came out, and it showed her actually initiating the dance and smiling, laughing all about it, and this, that, the other. She didn't really look like she was trying to get away, in all honesty. And then she came out and said it wasn't that dance, it wasn't that video, then it was that video. But there's just a lot of holes in that one as well. Then we have... So then we go to Funimations TCPA. And Funimations TCPA basically says that Funimation started the investigation because of a tweet by Hanlea, which basically read, "Hey, at Funimations, are," and I'm paraphrasing here, "are you okay with working with a known pedophile?" So that is what they claim started the investigation. But that's the one thing that they didn't investigate. Instead of investigating that, they got statements from the twins, which just filed an affidavit themselves, and that's a whole nother mess. And then got Monica's testimony, and then Vic was fired for misconduct, or so they say. Or it wasn't really stated. It wasn't stated why he was fired, but they were just kind of saying, hint, hint, that it was misconduct. Like, it was... They were throwing the breadcrumbs out there. But it wasn't enough there wasn't enough breadcrumbs because they didn't actually come out and say it. And they said because of their investigation, they fired him. So then it comes out that, Funimation can't... If Funimation's TCPA is going to go through, they have to say that they don't control the voice actors, like their communications and this, that, and the other. Problem with that: their contract says that they cannot speak about, or maybe it's not their contract, but there is an email that was leaked that said that you can't talk about upcoming characters in anime, this, that, and the other, until Funimations until Funimations announces it, basically. And then not only that, but you turn around and it also talks about like the other casts and stuff like that. They can't really say much about it. And if they want to say something about it, they have to talk to somebody else. And, of course, Monica has that email where she was asking that HR person at Funimations, basically wanting to give her permission to say something. So there's that too. So a lot of things are falling apart. Like it's like that. It's like a real brittle. I'm trying to think of a good analogy here. It's like an egg. If you squeeze that egg too hard, you're going to crack the shell, right? If you start poking holes in it, the yolk and the whites, well, the white is going to come out, and it's only going to have very the egg pun's bad. No, that's not very good. It's like an eggshell. Let's go with that. So it's very brittle, and if you put holes in it, it's going to break. Basically. So we've got all these holes being put into, TCPAs and affidavits and this, that, and the other. And then they decide to bring in the twins. Cat's doing something weird again. Why are you looking at that wall? You're weird. You're a weird cat. You're my weird cat. I love you to death. I hope nothing ever happens to you. Anyway, so the twins released their affidavit, and it's almost like they got the same person to write it, because it's almost verbatim, word for word. So it turns out that the twins did go up to his hotel room willingly. Just like, Vic said. He said he invited them up, and they came up, and when he asked them if they wanted to go heels to Jesus, they decided they wanted their heels to stay on the ground. And so he let them go, and apparently, and I don't understand where this was wrong. Like they're trying to make it. Basically, the affidavit was trying to make Vic look bad. Like all the things in Monica and Ron's filings are just there to make Vic look bad. It's trying to prejudice the judge and show that Vic is this monster when he's quite the opposite. You can ask the Reasonable Rangers. You can talk to a lot of the fans that have met him. There's just a pleasant time to be had all around. There's rarely a bad story that, isn't associated with Kick Vic. That should tell you something right there. If you can find one person who isn't associated with Kick Vic or I Stand With Vic and get them to recount their story, I can pretty much bet that that's going to be a good. They're going to have a great story about a guy who's very loving, very very nice to his fans. And then they're trying to take this video of him, at I guess at like a cosplay thing, where the little girl comes up dressed up as as Wonder Woman. He's like, "What are you gonna be doing after the show?" Like, very innocent. Like, there's nothing wrong with that question. But they're trying to spin it like he was trying to get with this little girl on stage in front of hundreds of people. Like, are you fucking nuts? Like, if there's a voice actress out there whose brother has some very questionable thing, or who was convicted of something that was very questionable, right? So they wouldn't do that right out in public. Like, most of people who get caught with that kind of crap are caught with it outside of public. I mean, they're not going to be open about it. Well, unless, you have, say, some kind of video with it, LJ Montello. You were 19. Those kids were not. They weren't even 18. Get your act together. And then, of course, you got, Desmond is amazing, taking clothes off at a gay bar. 11-year-old kid, a drag kid, taking clothes off at a gay bar while men give him money, I should say. And then you got this new person who just came out of the woodwork and wanted to have that topless pool party. Also wanted somebody to wax their their wedding tackle, their twig and berries, their meat and veg. Oh, I love Austin Powers for those. That just me being able to say that because YouTube's being YouTube. It's just it makes me happy because I can dance around the subject and make it funny. So we got that, and then what else? That's really it on that side of things. You just got a bunch of these like little things where things aren't right, but people are overlooking it because it's not painting this narrative that they want, and people who are like. I Stand With Vic are saying, hey, this shit isn't right. Stop. It's not like we're saying, hey. Well, it is like we're saying, hey, that shit's disgusting. Stop. Because it is. It is disgusting. Like, no child should be predicated on. I think that's the right word. No child should fear an adult, or no adult should fear that their child is going to be around somebody like that, right? So they're accusing Vic of things that they've done. This is Kick Vic, by the way, because LJ Montello is not, I don't think she's a voice actor, but she is with Kick Vic, so that kind of makes her, in the thick of it. So you got these people accusing Vic of what they're doing, and then you got these people who are seemingly lying about their interactions with Vic, and it's becoming this thing where if I were to get all the papers, which, by the way, the TCPAs alone would be 1,000 pages. If I were to give somebody the papers on both sides and show them all of the evidence, they would be like, okay, this is looking more and more like somebody falsely accused him of these things. And that's something I kind of want to hit on today. I know it was a very long-winded way of getting here, but I wanted to make sure that you got, a biased bit of information, but at least it's all truthful. I've not stated any assumptions without, saying, hey, this is my assumption. But, so, let's talk about false accusations. And let me preface all of it with, if you are a victim of some of these crimes that I've talked about, or that of more heinous crimes, go to the police, get a police report. I can't stress that enough, because all Kick Vic is trying to do is destroy a man without due process. All I Stand With Vic wants is that due process. But so the false accusations thing has gone on long enough, guys. if you are a victim, definitely get some kind of piece of paper that says that this happened on this day, and someone else, uh, there's some more evidence than just, hey, I'm saying that this happened. Because just saying that this happened, it's he said, she said, and there's not a whole lot to really enforce either side. Like, if my best friend came up to me and said, "Hey, you stole this from me," and I said, "No, I didn't," and that thing is at neither of our places, then him saying I stole it, he can't prove it. I can't go to jail for it. So that's a false accusation. So there have been some incidences, and I'm going to go through 3 of false accusations here lately in the wake of basically Me Too. So Me Too, it was good in theory. It was good in theory, and it was good, it was good intent. It was backed with good intentions, like wanting victims to come forward. And I wholeheartedly say, victims, you should come forward, but you should also have evidence that this stuff happens. And the reason why we say this should have evidence is because of the 3 cases I'm going to talk about. So in 1987, the year I was born, in, I think it was Central Park, a woman accused 3 black men. Or no, I think it was 5. Let me make sure that's correct. I'm going to pull up, I'm actually going to pull up some stuff. Give me 1 second. I think it was 5. Yeah, it's the Central Park 5. There were 5 black men that were accused of raping a woman. Right? And, so these men were accused of raping this woman and were sentenced. Let me make sure that I've got all the facts here. So they were convicted of. It doesn't say they were convicted of all charges, but I know they were convicted of the rape. Ow. That kind of hurt. Oh, shit. Okay, so yeah. I know they were definitely convicted of the rape. So sentences ranged from 5 to 10 for 4 juveniles and 5 to 15 years for one classified as an adult at 16, right? So in 2002, they actually found the person who really raped this woman, and all 5 guys were released. So they sued the state of New York, and it was settled. Or they sued the city of New York for $41 million. And I think they won. Oh, they settled for $41 million. And then they also sued New York State, which settled in 2016 for $3.9 million in total. So these guys were sentenced to jail time for a false rape accusation in. I want to make sure I got the date right. It was 1989. Sorry, 1989, not 87. 89. So that's one case. Let's look at a different case. So the next case I want to talk about is has been known as Mattress Girl. And this woman, in 2013, in April in 2013, accused Paul. I'm gonna butcher this name. Nungesser. Make sure I got that right. Nungesser. Yeah, I got it right. Awesome. Paul Nungesser alleged that he raped her. Right? And in her dorm room. He was not responsible, and she wrote his name on a mattress. Or no, she accused him of this, wrote his name on a mattress, and carried it with her around campus. And she ended up filing a charge. She filed a report against him, and they did not pursue charges because there's lack of reasonable suspicion. Right? Okay, so I got my timeline a little screwed up. So she went to the police department who couldn't find reasonable suspicion. And so then she wrote his name on a mattress and started carrying that mattress around. And they... I'm trying to make sure that I've got everything. What really saved him was he saved text messages from this woman. And she was obsessed with him. Like, she was trying to get him to bed her. Right? And so then in April 2015, he filed a gender discrimination lawsuit against Columbia, because I think they actually did. I think they might have. I don't know if they actually, took him out or not, but anyway, it was all false. And the reason the police didn't pursue it is because there was no real clear evidence that, it was him. There was, I don't think there, again, there was no reasonable, said reasonable suspicion. Yeah, that's what it was reasonable suspicion. So that case was fake. And then the last one that I want is really tragic. So, okay, so in 2006, there was a case where I believe it was 6. Okay. Three members of Duke University's lacrosse team were accused of rape. And they, I believe, in 2006, a black student at North Carolina Central University who worked as a stripper, prostitute, and dancer accused 3 white Duke University students, all members of the Duke Blue Devils men lacrosse team, of raping her. The rape was said to have occurred at a party held by the lacrosse team, and 2 of the team captain. It was held at the house of 2 of the team captains on March 13th, 2006. Right. And she even pushed, the attorney, the district attorney, even tried to push that it was a hate crime. So, Duke suspended the team for 2 games. On April 11th, 2007, which it kind of seems like these cases take a little bit longer to go through. Uh, North Carolina Attorney General Roy Cooper dropped all charges, declaring the three lacrosse players innocent and victims of a tragic rush to accuse. So those guys, I believe, were actually kicked off the lacrosse team, and because that kind of thing is not something that you want to happen. It's going to devastate their careers and maybe even prevent them from going pro, if there is a pro lacrosse thing. So these are three different cases where the victims were just believed, and there was considerable damage done. And it's a lot like Vic's case, where everybody wants to believe the victim. Well, not everybody. Where news publications like A&N, and I think there's a new one out. All right, let's see. I'm going to click on the archive link. Oh, it's Dallas News. There we go. That's what I was trying to get at. It's the Dallas Morning News, or the Dallas News. And yeah, so basically this is an attack article on Vic, and the reason why I kind of want to pull this up is because these people, the media is running with Vic is basically guilty, and don't before I say this name, do not go after these people. Do not go after anybody that I've mentioned here, whether you feel one way or the other. Because, number one, if you do, you deserve every type of criticism coming to you. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I've done it myself, and I'm not proud of some of the things that I'm not proud of going after them, because I should just leave them alone. All they're doing is just trying to stoke the fire, and when they get a reaction out of you, that's exactly what they want. So don't give them what they want. So Shannon Grigsby is the one who wrote the article, and so the media wants to run with this stuff because it evokes some kind of emotion from you. Because let's face it, we all know a woman out there that has probably been through some stuff. And if you are one of those people who have been through something like this, I'm very sorry that you had to experience that. If you are a woman who has been a victim of something like that, it's terrible, and I hope that you got the justice that you are owed, because you deserve it. And that's all I'll say about that. So, long story short, the media is running with Vic. Vic is a horrible person, and this, that, and the other. And there hasn't been any lawsuit against Vic. He hasn't been convicted of anything. So they're really just grasping for that, for those clicks. And thanks to Hero Hay for having this article archived, so I didn't give them my views and stuff like that. So anyway, so going off of that, the media is going to run with it because it sells, or they think it sells. But we at I Stand With Vic just want him to have his day in court, and Kick Vic said they wanted him. They wanted to fight him in court, and it almost feels like they don't. They don't. They said they wanted to fight him in court, and now they're kind of wanting all of the lawsuit to stop. I mean, that's basically what a TCPA is wanting everything to stop. And for them to not go after this. Or for him to not go after this. So, there you have it. But the newest development is that they did file for a motion to continue, which is like basically pushing the date back because, again, Ty and the legal team have to go through over 1,000 pages of documents so that they can adequately prepare, and maybe they filed for a motion to strike evidence on I think Funimations TCPA, and again they'll probably have to take some time to draft Ron and Monica's motion to strike evidence from theirs, and then Jamie Markey's will be after that, because that's the order of filing from what I believe. And so the judge granted it, and so far, and I love this, is Vic and his legal team have been far more chill than I would be. Like, I would be, a little bit more, I would say, a little bit more sharp with them. They're being a little bit more blunt. Like, they're being nice. I would be less nice. Let's just put it that way. If I was a lawyer, and thank God I'm not, because I know some of my cases would probably end up with me in contempt, because I get real heated. But anyway, and I know you guys can't see that, because I try to stay cool, calm, and collected here. But I do get worked up, and it's bad when I do. So that's where we stand right now. It's been pushed back to September 6th, I believe, because they wanted an extension for, like, I think 3 weeks, and 7 to 21 is 28. So, and that wasn't going to work, so they're going for September 6th. And we'll find out how all that works out, because it's going to be all 3 TCPAs being fought at once to kind of, I guess, mitigate that, I guess, to kind of shorten the time in the courtroom. And from my understanding, and from what Ricada has said, and from what Hero Hay and Yellow Flash and all the others, I believe we all agree that the one who has the best chance of getting out of it is Jamie Markey, and we'll find out. We'll find out. Anyway, so now on to story time. So this story is going to be real short, because I've been talking for almost an hour now, and I kind of want to stop. So the story today is from my basic training. As you guys know, I was a former military. It was 6 years. I joined about 10 years ago, and it'll be 10 years ago. Holy crap. It'll be 10 years in October from when I went to basic training. Shit. Time flies. 10 years. 10 years. Holy. Wow. I haven't really thought about it. Crap. Anyway, so I was in Bravo Company. I can't remember what the numbers were. If one of my basic training mates. I didn't really have a whole lot of friends there. Uh, can remember the actual unit, let me know. But we were in Bravo, second platoon, and there was this drill sergeant, and I think it was third platoon, and he was teaching us BRM that week, and BRM stands for Basic Rifle Marksmanship. For those of you who've never been in the military. And this drill sergeant, he was Jamaican. And I mean, he was Jamaican. Like, it wasn't like, oh, he's losing the accent. No, he was fucking Jamaican. Like, the dude had a thick accent. There was some times where I was just like, I can't tell what he was trying to say. All right. So, I'm going to have to back up here for a second. So, the reason why I have to back up is because you got to see this. So, he walks. This big, tall, black guy is walking with shades on. And he's doing this little motion. And he's trying to talk to us. So it's like, okay, listen up, soldiers. Today I'm going to tell you about BRM. And I about lost it. Guys. So, I'm standing in formation, or we might have been sitting down, because BRM's pretty big. They don't want to they don't want to mess around with that. So we're sitting there, and we're there, and he says that in the exact same way that I said it, right? And I did not expect that. I did not expect that accent. So I'm sitting here going, "Oh God, don't laugh!" And I'm pretty sure you could tell in my face, because if there's one thing that I can't do, it's hide my emotions very well. And so I'm sitting here going, God, don't laugh. And this he's tall. Like, I'm short. I'm pretty short. I'm about don't make fun of me, but I'm 5'9". I'm short. I'm Irish. Deal with it. So he goes, "Listen up, soldiers," and I'm like, oh God, I can't deal with this today, because we're the screw up platoon, I guess is what you would call it. And so he's there trying to talk, and I can understand some of what he's saying, and some of what he's saying I just can't understand through that thick ass accent. And all of a sudden, I hear somebody laughing, and he goes, "Okay, you want to be like that. Have right face. Front leaning rest position, move." And so I'm sitting down there in the push-up position, and I'm like, I can't deal with this. I'm trying so hard not to laugh too, guys, because I'm laughing right now because it's hilarious in hindsight. But at the time, if you laugh at a drill sergeant, they're gonna fuck your world up. So I'm sitting here, hands on the ground. I'm pretty sure I'm sweating at this point because I'm trying not to laugh, kind of like I am now, and I'm just like, do not laugh. Do not laugh, in cadence, so I don't, miss rhythm. And he's still talking, and it was just so hard. It's hard to do push-ups while trying not to laugh, guys. And so that's one of the stories from basic training that's pretty short, sweet, and to the point. Just the listen up, soldiers. It kills me every time. And so that's my basic training story for today. So thanks so much for watching, guys. If you liked it, hit that like button. Subscribe to me if you haven't done so already. Ring the bell so you get all the notifications no matter what we do. And I'm pretty sure somewhere on the screen I will put last Frosty Talks somewhere. I'm not 100% sure, but I'll do it. It'll probably be in one of my hands. Who knows? And on the other hand, I'll probably put the subscribe button. So, there, you have something to look forward to. But anyway, guys, until next time, you stay frosty.